The PlayStation 5 has largely been a success for Sony, overcoming its early supply chain problems to become a popular option for players looking to enjoy the best experiences from talented developers. The original console pushed the boundaries of what a console could achieve, bringing 60 FPS gameplay, 4K visuals, ray tracing support, and so much more to the table. And then came the PS5 Pro. It was built to overcome the PS5's limitations, with having to choose between improved resolutions and frame rates being a main factor. However, with the PS5 Pro, Sony promised to remove that painful choice with 4K 60 FPS gameplay, AI upscaling, a boost to performance that would set the mid-gen console apart. And it seems like the PS5 Pro does have its takers despite initial skepticism about the need for an upgrade, and the argument that games were barely making the most of the PS5 as it was. But now that a full year has passed, has this powerhouse been worth the time, effort, and its price tag? Well, let's dive in and find out. A solid design and a premium build. While the PS5 Pro's design might find the same criticisms as the original console, there is no denying that it stands out from the crowd. But more importantly, is a design that ensures optimal cooling, and we're yet to hear our fans spin fast enough for them to be noisy. As far as reliability is concerned, the PS5 Pro continues to be a solid offering from Sony. While our base PS5 has thrown out a few warnings about overheating when we put it through its paces, the Pro is yet to break a sweat and seems well suited to long gaming sessions with no drops in performance whatsoever. However, we're well aware that it's only been a year since the PS5 Pro, and it's going to be interesting to see games like GTA 6 push it to its limits later down the line. As far as comparisons with the PS5 Slim are concerned, well, we'd say that the Pro is a different console aimed at different players. The Slim is still a perfectly suitable option for those of you who don't mind a slightly lower resolution or frame rate as long as games run well enough for you to play them. But for those of you who'd like your games to look and feel the best that they can, well, the Pro is still the one for you. Pro performance. Of course, there are players who can always overlook a design that they don't like on a machine that performs as promised. And on that front, the PS5 Pro does bring its beefier GPU and PSSR to the fray, and it's been a solid for the most part. You might argue that developers aren't really making use of most of its features, but several of 2025's releases have justified having that extra power under the hood. When it comes to sustaining 4K at 60 FPS, the PS5 Pro continues to flex its muscles, which is especially true for games that come with a dedicated mode. It's enough of an upgrade over the base PS5 to justify that extra cash you'd spend on it, while its frame pacing and upscaling performance do a great job for the most part. However, there have been complaints about how PSSR handles upscaling in certain specific instances, but those are far enough from each other and nothing that a few updates or patches can't handle. For instance, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, Days Gone, and a few others suffered from image quality issues that made their PS5 versions better options. However, games like the Callisto Protocol, Alan Wake 2, and several others have been quite solid on the PS5 Pro. Ultimately, it's important to remember that PSSR is only a year old and is sure to improve as time goes on, but more on that in a bit. Ray tracing and balanced modes are certainly becoming common for the powerhouse, and having them on while you experience either a familiar title or a brand new one continues to give us a reason to smile at our screens. Exploring Ezio in Ghost of Yotei, for instance, has been nothing short of a visual treat, with ray tracing and 60 FPS making the entire experience feel quite different to the one you get on a base PS5. Sucker Punch also stands out for its deft use of the DualSense controller, using the touchpad and gyroscope to bring immersive, unique touches to the experience. It showcased how the controller can be integrated into a game quite well, and was better than the majority of titles whose focus was either on haptics or the adaptive triggers. There are notable exceptions, of course, but things can and should be better on this front. Perhaps Stalker 2 could change that. As far as PSSR and its ability to improve on your gaming experience is concerned, it does hold up against its rivals well enough to be taken seriously. If Sony manages to sustain the momentum it has garnered, the technology could be quite the console seller when the PS6 eventually comes around. The Pro's popularity. As far as developer and player adoption is concerned, the PS5 Pro seems to be a popular option. There are a ton of titles that come with Pro-enhanced features from both first-party and third-party developers. Many popular titles do come with a notable difference to how they perform on the base PS5 and the Pro, with better graphics, ray tracing, and performance options for the latter. Guerrilla Games has been a noteworthy use of the PS5 Pro to bring Horizon Forbidden West and its remaster of Horizon Zero Dawn to a level of polish that makes them stand out. Sucker Punch made excellent use of the Pro's capabilities to make its take on ancient Japan stand out from Assassin's Creed Shadows. That's not to say that developers outside of Sony's umbrella of studios are falling behind. Enhanced versions of games like F1 25 and Gran Turismo 7 have been great examples of third-party studios making good use of their expanded skill set of the PS5 Pro. However, there have been versions of games that have just been higher resolution versions of the original releases. It's largely been up to different studios and the amount of resources they have towards developing Pro-enhanced versions of their games. But on balance, the PS5 Pro has managed to make a name for itself on the landscape of modern gaming as far as developers are concerned. But what about the players? Are all of the console's bells and whistles enough to justify its hefty price tag? Well, on that front, it's still a console for absolute enthusiasts who simply want the best possible graphics and performance from their consoles. But for more casual gamers who may not have a display capable of 120 FPS or incredible resolutions, the base PS5 is still more than enough. A great software experience. Of course, the user interface and the games on offer are equally important on a console that's currently the flagship of a long line of great gaming platforms. The user interface on the PS5 Pro maintains Sony's clean UI elements, presenting your most recent games right up front of your app queue, while new additions such as the new tabs and the ability to customize your wallpaper are all welcome additions to the experience. Granted, there is a firmware update that's slated to give the Pro's PSSR capabilities a significant boost. Announced in March 2025, that could just be around the corner and could address several issues in upscaling on a long list of games. If you've been waiting on a fix for one of your favorite titles, well, this holiday season might just be a great time to upgrade. As far as the PSVR 2 is concerned, there are a few titles that come with the PS5 Pro enhanced versions, but we're going to have to wait and see if that list continues to grow enough to justify their existence. It's good that the DualSense continues to be a great controller even on the Pro, and its Elite version is among our favorites. Has the PS5 Pro been welcome? Although the Pro has been praised for the improved potential for developing stunning, well-performing games, its inconsistent upscaling performance and its price continues to be pain points for Sony's behemoth. It's expensive enough to be an upgrade that's out of many budgets, and its benefits might not justify its purchase for such consumers. However, for titles that make use of its capabilities well, their Pro-enhanced versions are excellent ways to enjoy the experiences that they have to offer. Death Stranding 2 on the beach is a great example of that. It's also important to look at the PS5 Pro as the predecessor to the PS6, whenever that does come along. The Pro's very existence and its development cycle has already fueled speculation about the next big leap for Sony's gaming powerhouse. That might be a great reason for many PS5 owners to skip the Pro altogether. It also raises questions about the need for mid-gen upgrades to popular consoles. But if 2025 has been any indication, there have also been many excellent titles whose visuals and performance have benefited from more power under the hood. Modern gaming seems to only have just begun making use of the PS5 and the Pro, and there is a strong argument to be made for the PS5 Pro's presence on Sony's lineup. A year later, the PS5 Pro continues to be a worthy presence in modern gaming, allowing PlayStation fans who want the very best gaming experience from the console. Its brilliant spec sheet and Sony's touches make it a powerful console that's held back only by its prohibitive pricing. But would we recommend the upgrade? Well, for PS5 owners, the Pro makes sense only if you have the display for it. For those of you on other platforms, the PS5 Pro is the one to get if you can fork over the extra cash for it. Sony's lineup of exclusive titles continues to be a solid reason for you to take that plunge. As far as the future, there is plenty to be excited about. AMD and PS5 architect Mark Cerny recently discussed Project Amethyst, unveiling 3 pillars: neural arrays, radiance cores, and universal compression, as the next wave of Sony and AMD graphics tech. For PS5 Pro's near future, the software learning pieces should matter first. Smarter PSSR via ML efficiency, and broader in-flight compression that steadies 4K recon, asset streaming, and 60/120 FPS targets. The heavy lifting from dedicated Radiance cores is PS6 class, but the R&D behind it will still trickle down as better hybrid RT techniques and tooling on the PS5 Pro. The PS5 Pro continues to be a beast of a console for those that can find the right uses for it. And that'll be about it for this one. If you guys like what we're doing at Gaming Vault, please consider subscribing to our channel, and I'll see you guys on the next video.